Hello, welcome to Julie's Unknown podcast. This is, that was weird. This is episode 7. And I am going to be diving into talking all things about crystals. I love crystals. I use crystals. I connect with them a lot. I remember when I first got into crystals years ago in the start of my spiritual journey, it was in the very beginning. It was also the time where I bought tarot cards as well. I was like going into all the things. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I wanted to talk a little bit about crystals. And I'll be talking about certain ones for characteristics that I connect with, and how to purchase crystals, like, how to cleanse them, just like little pieces and nuggets of information and what I've learned through my experiences, and maybe this can help you. So if you do feel connected to crystals, or if you are curious about crystals, this is a great episode. It's like a way to kind of get started. Gonna just tap into that. The way I was, when I first started buying crystals, the way I was told to go buy them is to just walk into a spiritual store, a metaphysical store. And so you can like Google one and try and if you find one in your area. But I do know also that there are people on Instagram and online that also sell crystals that way. I personally love going into a metaphysical store just because I love being in the presence of them, versus online. I don't feel as connected. Like, it's just more like, oh, that's pretty, but I don't feel like the holding the crystal and having that connectivity to it. And so usually the way I was taught is going into a metaphysical store, and in the beginning, maybe just browsing around, right? Browsing around, see what you connect to, see which ones pull your eye, or which ones you hold and you have a different feeling towards them. And then after that, you can look at the properties and what they are there for. And you will see that most of the time, I would say about 99.9% of the time, it is exactly what you need, because your intuition always knows. But if you do want to go in for something very specific, then this is where you can like research, and whether using Google is a good tool to researching crystals and properties, or even asking the people that work at the metaphysical store. Most of the time, they are very knowledgeable from every experience I've had, and going in and being like, okay, I'm looking for a crystal for XYZ. And then this is like, they'll show, sometimes more than one. And there's different sizes of crystals. I started out with little small ones to begin with, just so I can get a feel for them and how they work. And then as I got like more knowledge and more feel for them, then I started going a little bit bigger and getting ones that there was a specific purpose. You can also go to crystal mines as well. Sometimes, like, depending on where you live, there might be a mine in your area. And that is where you can get crystals at a much cheaper rate than what they are in the metaphysical stores. So that is something you can also look into. When you go and buy crystals, like, you're obviously feeling it. You either want to touch it, you want to get a sense of how it feels holding it. If you're not feeling called to it, if you're holding it and it's not doing anything, and you're not feeling it anything crazy, then I would suggest like not to get it. Don't feel like you need to get it, or you feel like you have to because this is the one that was recommended for you. If you're not feeling it, it's not meant for you. And so that is like, I do want to kind of point that out, because that is important. Sometimes we feel like we should have something, whereas maybe we don't. And crystals are there to help you heal. They're there to help protect you, depending on what you need them for. And there's so many. There's some that can help you, with like actual physical ailments. There's some that are more spiritual, that can have you access your intuition or protect you on a spiritual level. And there's just some that, help you heal, your chakras, heal your heart chakra, your throat chakra, or help you speak your truth, whatever it is. And so I'm kind of going off the whim on this episode. I am not going to be going into like super detailed of every single crystal and its properties. I'm going to throw in some of the ones I've used. And that is just like kind of just like throwing that out there as well. So when you do buy a crystal, so let's say you go to a store or you order online and you buy this crystal you connect with and you're like, yes, this is the one. It is really, really important when you go home to cleanse it right away. The reason why I say this, because I have once forgotten to cleanse it, and I literally had the crystal in my jean pocket, and I remember lying down and all of a sudden I got super gassy. I was super gassy. My stomach was super sharp. And I was like, what did I eat? I started reflecting on what I ate and realized it had nothing to like, I didn't eat anything abnormal, didn't understand what was happening. And then I removed the crystal from my pocket, went to put on my selenite plate, and the gas was gone. So I learned my lesson. Very important to cleanse your crystals. So there's different ways to cleanse your crystals. One, you can put them in the ground. So if it's summer and not winter, right, you could put them in Mother Nature, in the earth. Another way, depending on the crystal, so this is not for all crystals, definitely ask when you go to the metaphysical store, ask a person or whoever you're purchasing the crystal for this, putting it in water, so cleansing it with water. So this would be best, like if it's either the ocean, again, look, ask the store, because there's salt in the ocean, but then also water, like some crystals will fall apart and dissolve in water. You can also cleanse them in a river or a creek as well. Anything that has that's clean water. And this is the same thing goes for putting crystals in the bath. I know some people love putting crystals in their baths. So again, make sure you ask and you do research of if this crystal can go into water or not, because some will, I will kid you not, will dissolve. So putting them into nature. Another way to cleanse them is through incense. So this is where you can use incense, you can use sage, you can use Palo Santo. You can also just use like nine chapa, like any incense to cleanse them. So you can cleanse them that way. And then the other way you can also cleanse them is through a selenite plate. So this is like selenite, you can get it at the metaphysical store. It's like a clear crystal, and it looks like there's different sizes, like you can get like a rectangle, you can get some that are circle, and you could just put the crystals on there. And I love using a selenite plate because I cleanse my crystals obviously when I buy them, but then I also cleanse them throughout the time that I'm using them. It's good to clean out the energy. Another way to cleanse your crystals is through a full moon. So if you are buying it and there's a full moon coming up, putting them either on your windowsill, or you can also put them on your car dash, like wherever the moon can hit. If you feel comfortable putting them, actually physically putting them outside where the moon hits, you can do that. So full moon is a really good time to cleanse your crystals. I recommend cleansing crystals under a full moon versus a new moon. And so once you've cleansed your crystals, then you can use them. And there's different ways that you can use them. You can have them on with you on the daily, wherever you're going. I have some in my car. You could put them when you're taking a bath or a shower. Again, check to see if they're like that they won't dissolve in water. And you can also put them either next to your nightstand where you sleep, or even on your pillow. And you can also use them during meditation. So depending on the properties and what you're using the crystals for, you can use them in any way. So feel your intuition and go with what feels right for you, like how you want to use them. There's some that I tend to carry a lot. There was one that I have that is a clear quartz, and it's a heart. And this was gifted to me actually. And I used it I've used it more than once, and it's helped me a lot. I've used it once, it helped me clear a headache. It was really interesting. I had a headache, and the headache wasn't going away. And I just and it was like in my left side temple. And I remember just like lying down, putting it on my temple, and the headache went away. There was another time that I had stomach pains, sharp stomach pains, and I just put the crystal above my stomach, and then again also like cleared it up for me. So use it as it feels for you. And then there's other ones where I know I have certain ones that are blue crystals, and I use that if I need to speak my truth and I'm struggling speaking my truth, and I know I need to have a conversation with someone, and there's a lot of heaviness around it. I will have those in my pocket during that time to just kind of help me feel more calm and grounded to be able to speak my truth. Blue, those like kind of like navy dark blue crystals are really good for the throat chakra. I do also have big obsidian. So you can use obsidian or tourmaline. These are great protection crystals that can protect your energy. And I have these 4 black obsidian big crystals at the corners of my room. So it makes a grid and it protects my room. And so I also like carrying, sometimes I do like carrying also black obsidian with me. It is a protection crystal, like physical protection, but also spiritual protection as well. And then there is amethyst. Amethyst is a good one for tapping into your intuition, and it's also a very, it's a protection crystal as well. Excuse me. And this one I like to use many different, I will have it usually by my bed. So that if anything comes up in my dreams or when I'm napping, to tap into my intuition in that way to like straighten that. I also use it when I do tarot card readings, feel more connected. I use it when I'm meditating, if I am unclear what my intuition is telling me and I need to make a decision on something and I'm not sure what to do, I will use it in that way. I also tend to use meditating when I do meditations, such as like tapping into my inner child or going to meet my spirit guides. Any of those kind of meditations, I love using amethyst through that. Another crystal I do have is citrine. Citrine is abundance, and tapping into that. And I will hold on to citrine, especially when I feel like lack is coming in, or I feel there's uncertainty around abundance or money. And my mind kind of goes in that opposite way. Also, if I go into like a potential client session or a potential meeting for an opportunity, I will bring it with me in that to see like kind of like just to tap into that abundance. And obviously, again, if the opportunity or the client is meant to come into my world, it will. If it's not, then it's not meant to be. And I do trust the universe with that aspect. Then I mentioned the selenite plate. So the selenite plate, I use that for charging my crystals, but I also use that to like cleanse my energy. Gonna do a lot of edits on this one. So I use the selenite plate to cleanse my energy. I do it, cleanse my energy, cleanse my cards, cleanse. Like selenite plates is amazing on so many levels. So when I cleanse my energy, I basically take the wand and I scan it, the front part of my body, like through my chakras, for example. Like, so I'll go, you can do this any way it feels right for you, but I'll start like my belly, and then I go all the way up to my crown, and then I do the back side, like the back of my head. I go down my back all the way to my root. I do my legs, and then I do the sides and my arms. And this is just to clear the energy. I do tend to take in a lot of the energy from the outside world because I have many open undefined centers in human design. And with the work I do, as well as, life and spiritual coach. So, I tend to cleanse my energy, like after client sessions, after tarot card readings. And I try to just do it on the daily as well. Like sometimes I tend to forget, but whenever I do remember, try to do it because I do take on, and I am an empath as well. So taking on a lot of things that don't belong to me. And so it is a good way. And every time I actually use that selenite plate to cleanse, like I feel a release. I remember once someone did it for me at a spiritual fair. She did it for me, and I honestly felt like I was going to cry, but I didn't cry. Like I didn't physically cry, but then moments later, my eyes were burning as if I did cry a lot. So it was like spiritually, I cried, which was really interesting. It was a release from everything that I was carrying on from the outside world. I also use my selenite plate to cleanse my tarot cards as well, especially if I do use them for client sessions. But I also like to cleanse my tarot cards and give them some love as also. And which other crystals do I have? There's so many crystals out there. Oh, clear quartz. So clear quartz is a good amplifier. So clear quartz is used, I like using clear quartz in conjunct with another crystal as an amplifier. So let's say like I want to tap into my intuition, I have amethyst, I will use clear quartz with that to amplify that energy. If I have like the selenite plate, I can use the clear quartz to amplify the, what's it called? Amplifies the cleansing, for example, or if it's with black obsidian or black tourmaline, is to amplify the protection. Then there is rose quartz. Rose quartz is good to use for your heart chakra and cleansing that. There is another green one for heart chakra. Healing and cleansing. Rose quartz and malachite are good. Also, like any other pink or green crystals are good for that. So the other thing is like a way to look at it. If you look at your chakras, for example, you have your root, your sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, and each one has, you know, different properties, different colors. And if you can pair the color of those chakras with the crystal. So root is color red. So if you want to heal and ground yourself, and if you find that you are in a place of like uncertainty with like money and stability, for example, if you don't feel stable, if you don't feel grounded, you want to tap into to heal and ground yourself with the root chakra, which is red. So you want to look at crystals that are red in color. If you are looking at your sacral is all about creativity, but then also sexuality and pleasure. This is where you want to look at the color is orange. So you want to look at crystals that are more orange in color. Solar plexus, all about the ego and your emotions. So the color for solar plexus is yellow. Heart chakra, heart, love, unconditional love, love of self, love of others. So again, the green is a color, but there's also rose quartz. I mentioned earlier the throat chakra, so speaking your truth to yourself, recognizing the truth within yourself or those in others. And so that is where you're going to go with the color blue. And you got your third eye. Third eye is of your intuition. It is seeing. So that is a darker blue. And so you can pair it with crystals with that. And then the crown is color purple, intuition again. And that is, you know, amethyst is one for the crown chakra. So you can pair with that. So that's kind of giving you a little bit of like an idea of like how the chakra system is connected with the crystals, because everything is interconnected. It's all interconnected. And the other thing is that I will say when crystals disappear, when you cannot find your crystals, it can mean a few things, but it could be that they're complete with your journey with you, or it could be that right now that crystal is not meant for you. But when you do find it again, that's when you know it's meant to be in your world. If you've noticed that the crystal has lost color, this is where the energy of the crystal is done. So the crystal has completed everything with you. So you can go again and buy the same crystal. Like, let's say, so I know rose quartz, for example, can basically, it looks pink and then it can go white. And that means like it's done, but it doesn't mean that, like, that you're not meant to like heal your heart chakra anymore. It just means that that crystal is complete, and you could just go buy another rose quartz if you feel called to it. If a crystal breaks or cracks, again, that is also that the crystal has completed its journey with you. So if there's like discoloration, or if it cracks or breaks, you may wonder, what do I do with it? You can do many things. Well, you can keep it if you want to keep it, but you can also bring it back to nature. So you can go bury it in the ground or throw it in the ocean. And then if you sometimes, like, if there's certain crystals that you don't feel called to anymore that you have, you can always gift them to somebody as well. I've received crystals that way. So sometimes you might just be like, I don't feel called to this anymore. And you could just gift it and pass it on to someone else. So that's another thing you can do. There is also one crystal that is great for EMF protection called shungite. So that one is good. Black tourmaline, also smoky quartz, and amethyst. So these ones, I just had to Google this. So these ones are great for like 5G EMF protection. And so if you are very much sensitive to that, I would recommend shungite. Be very mindful about shungite. Well, just any crystal in general, that because there are some that are fake and not real. So this is where I say, like, maybe make sure you do your research before ordering online, before ordering through somebody through Etsy. Do your research, find out where they are sourcing their crystals. It is really important. Even when you are going to a metaphysical store, ask where they are sourcing them. Ask, like, get your information around that, because there are some stores that don't use real crystals, unfortunately, and you will feel the energy of it as well if you are very in tune with your intuition and feeling of crystals. So, and shungite is one that I have read that there's a lot of fake ones for that. So definitely make sure you do that. And it's cool with shungite. I think you can buy one. I haven't gotten it yet because the store sold out of it, but you can buy one that you stick it on your phone case, which is pretty cool. And I do actually want to get that. So you can look into that. So that is great for if you are interested in that form of protection. And yeah, I think that's it. That is all my information that I would love to share for crystals. So I hope this was informative for you. It is a very basic episode. If you want me to go deeper, if there are certain crystals you want to learn more about, if there's certain if there are certain aspects of crystals that if you have questions on that I didn't answer, please feel free, send me a message on Instagram, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you could just put it in the comments. Let me know. And then that way, either I can respond to you directly there, or if there are enough questions that people have, then I can create a part 2 episode of this. But this is kind of a very intro of learning about crystals that I just wanted to share with you. And that is all that I have for you today. And then the other thing that I just want to mention before we go is a few things that I have going on. If you do desire to work with me, you can go on my website, and I do have all my services on there. I offer one-to-one sessions, such as actual coaching sessions, inner child healing. This is in a span of minimum 3 months that we just dive deep into you and to begin healing you. I also offer one-off sessions such as human design readings and intuitive card readings if you want to just try me out and see what I'm all about. But if you're not ready to commit to that yet, I also have digital downloads I have a free one, and then I have like 2 right now that are paid. A third one is going to be coming up, and the digital downloads are basically lower cost. There's intro to inner child healing. There is money work one, and then the one that's free is intro to shadow work. And you can just like go on my website and you can get it all there. And lastly, I do have a book. I wrote a book called When I Grow, So Do You, and it's on Amazon, and you can go get it through there. And that's basically it. That is what I offer. So I do offer a lot of things at a different scales, and it is a choose your own adventure. You pick which one feels right for you, and I trust that if you are in my world, there's a reason you are in my world. There's a reason you're listening. And if right now you don't feel called to getting anything but just listening to my podcast, I appreciate that very, very much. So even if you could just subscribe or, write a review, I would love that. So thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will speak to you soon.